Okay, so habits, they're either going to get you the results or they're going to hold you back from results. Add these in slowly, so expectations are managed, but also I want these things to be part of your life forever. If you try to change everything at once, you are not going to stick with it. So this nugget is for not only the new people, but it is for the OGs who maybe need a little bit of a reminder. So the first thing I want us to focus on is standing or moving more than we sit. This is going to be very, very, very important. There has been so much more research lately talking about how bad sitting is for us, for many reasons. You can do your own research. I'm not going to get into it because I don't want these nuggets to be too long. But please be mindful throughout the day, if you are sitting at a desk, to set an alarm clock every hour that will remind you to get up, take a 10-minute walk, even just stand and work at your desk. Like for me, I have my laptop in the kitchen. It's a perfect height, and I just stand and do my programming and do my check-ins and write my emails standing. It also keeps me a little bit more alert, which is something that Lori mentioned today on our walk. So you need to stand more than you sit. There's no exceptions to the rule. Your body will thank you for it, not just in terms of pain, but also when you're standing, your body is more efficient because there's more muscles working. So believe it or not, you are going to be expending more energy, a lot more energy when you stand versus sit. So if you've been sitting at a desk for an hour, you should definitely be getting up every single hour and making an effort to get moving. So this sort of slides along into the steps. I don't like to say specifically get 8 to 10,000 steps in. I just want people to walk more. So many of you, as you're already inputting your steps, are dialed into that, which is great. I also want you to try to separate those steps throughout the day. I don't want you to get your 8 to 10,000 steps, and I say 8 to 10,000 steps, but if you're only getting 2 right now, and I'd be happy with you getting 3 or 4, slowly adding onto it as you get more comfortable with more walking. But get out in nature, get outside, get some fresh air, get some vitamin D. It is good for your mental wellness just as much as your physical wellness. But break it up into 3 or 4 sessions. And the reason why I tell you that is because especially if you walk after a meal, it's going to help with your blood sugars. Okay, you're also going to be expending some of those calories that you just ingested, especially in the evening when we typically eat, then sit down. We're not really active enough to burn sometimes, or not burn, but use those calories, right? I always say you should be eating the most during the day, in the morning, during the day, because you're active. You're going to be standing in the evening. Typically should be your smallest meal, because that's when we sort of sit down, unwind, and relax. I know that's really going far, because dinner is a time when we get together as family and eat, but start thinking about why you're eating, when you're eating, and the requirements that your body needs through the day, through your fuel. And so yeah, if you're breaking those steps up first thing in the morning, maybe at lunchtime, it's easy, the weather's beautiful, and then post dinner, you're breaking up those steps. I always say like 2,000. I'm not a runner, so I can't get my steps in that quickly. Although yesterday I did get 26,000 steps in, which was the most I've ever had in my whole life. Some of you do that every day, which is crazy, but I am pretty sure it's because you're big runners. Not sure, but pretty sure, because I basically walked all day to get those 26,000 steps in. Okay, so that's the second thing. So standing more than sitting, walking throughout the day, getting your 8 to 10,000 steps in, or if you're not a walker, getting more than you're normally in to start is a great thing. I want you to drink your water. Drink your water. Drink more water than you think that you should. Yes, you should be probably peeing every hour. Is it annoying? Of course it is. I hear all the excuses, ladies. I've been doing this for 34 years. So the biggest thing people say to me is, well, if I drink that much water, I'm peeing every hour. Yeah, I know it's a bit annoying, but we want to be healthy here. So increasing your water intake is something you definitely need to be doing. I like to do a big glass of water before every meal, because sometimes we are thirsty or dehydrated, and that creates a hunger pain or a hunger feeling. So sometimes that big drink of water actually takes away some of those hunger pains because you're just dehydrated. Plus, water is just so good for us, okay? So Again, if you want to know the importance of water, I can give you more information of why I encourage more water drinking. But just take my word for it, ladies. Improve your water intake. And then the last thing I want to talk about is protein. Some of you are vegetarians. It's going to be harder for you, but not impossible. I've trained vegetarians my whole career, and we absolutely can get 1 pound of protein in per 1 gram of protein in per body weight, which, you know, I know it's asking a lot, but it is not impossible. What I do, and I currently share this on our nutrition challenges that we do, is I always make sure at 3 or 3:30 in the afternoon, I do a scoop and a half, sometimes 2 scoops of whey water, shake it up, drink it, and that's 50 to 60 grams right there. So if you're eating a big breakfast, or a breakfast that has protein in it, and again, we can talk about options for breakfast on this page or on our Facebook page. You know, you honestly, the first meal of the day, it needs to be the very first thing you put in your mouth is a protein. And just to keep those blood sugars down, it's super, super important, ladies. So that first meal of the day is going to be your 25 to 30 grams. That needs to be something that you focus on. Start integrating a healthier, more manageable, or healthier basically is the word I should be using, breakfast. Lunch is sometimes hard. Dinner is typically pretty easy. But again, if you're doing 25 to 30 grams of protein for 3 meals, 30, 60, 90, plus 50 grams, that's 140 grams, right? Or 130 grams, 120 grams. That's pretty good. I don't know how much I weigh. I don't weigh myself. I did weigh myself when I was in Tampa for that midlife mastery, and I think they said I was like 127 pounds, which surprised me because I used to be a lot heavier than that, which means I'm losing muscle. I know it. It's a bit depressing, but I'm not gonna give up. But I know that my body fat really doesn't change because my lifestyle doesn't really change, and that weight fluctuation or weight change is probably due to just not having the same muscle, but I'm not giving up. I'm going to keep going. Anyways, I digress. Without protein, if we are strength training, even if you're not strength training, we are strength training, but a lot of people ask me, well, I don't work out like you do, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're working out, not working out. Every single human on this planet needs to be getting in at least 100 grams, or 0.8 to 1 gram, and that's a non-negotiable. So you have to figure that out, and we can keep talking on the Facebook page about our options and ideas for how we can be doing it. Eggs are an excellent source of protein. I eat at least 4, if not 5 eggs a day, because 1 egg is 7 grams. So if I eat 4, that's 28 grams. I'm pretty happy. If I add some cottage cheese into those eggs, which is a fantastic idea that I learned in the lifestyle challenge or the nutrition challenge from one of the ladies last month. If you put a little cottage cheese in the eggs and you cook them on low heat, it is delicious. Not a lot of cottage cheese because then it changes the flavor. Just makes them a little cook your eggs on low to no heat, ladies. It's a game changer. It makes them taste way better. But even things like dry cured cottage cheese is less sodium in there, and so again, it's a very good source. And we know all the meat sources. We could definitely talk about more vegetarian options, but there is also protein powder that is a vegetarian or vegetable source. So you can totally do it. It's just going to be more of a challenge, but if your goal is to maintain and put muscle on your body, you need to do this. You are basically, you see the hill and you're getting up the hill, but you're never going to get up the hill unless you start eating and fueling with protein blocks that are going to repair those muscles. So I'll say one more quick thing about why we eat protein. When we're working out, we're breaking down our muscles. So there's a muscle. Inside the muscle is a spindle. The little spindles have little microfilaments that you don't see unless you look at them through a microscope. Those little spindles, through strength training, get shredded apart, and that's what stiffness is. And that's why I always say you need to feel the workouts within 24 to 48 hours. And I'm going to talk about next week intensities, and if you're not feeling the workouts, how we need to make sure we're training hard enough to make the differences, because it is great that we're getting to the gym, but we also want to make sure that we're pushing hard enough, right? So I'm going to talk about that next week. But we wake up the next day after a good workout, and we're like, oh yeah, definitely worked out with Tish, right? Did a train with Tish workout. Woo, feeling it. You feel good. You've made an impact on your body, right? Through your intensity, through proper training, through focus. But the muscles then are shredded. So how do we build onto that? Well, the body will see that injured site. Believe it or not, the body does see it as an injury. And through proper nutrition, the body will get through your eating, it will get to work to repair that injured site. And it can't do that unless you are giving it and fueling it with enough protein. They used to say you need to eat protein within an hour of each workout. They're now saying it's not as important. So that's good news. You don't have to be so crazy about getting to your kitchen and getting that food in. I still like to try to make sure I'm getting that 30 grams of protein post-workout immediately. It's pretty easy when you just bring a container of whey with you to work, add water and drink it, right? It doesn't have to be difficult. You just have to make some small adjustments and changes to your life. These are things that are not going to cost you very much money, not going to make a huge impact on your day-to-day, but will make a huge impact on the results that you're going to see. So again, if some of these are a lot, one at a time. Start mastering movement, start standing more. Don't even worry about the protein for a few weeks. Slowly, progressively, at your pace, managing expectations if you're not there yet, right? And if getting to the gym and opening the app and doing these workouts is something that is already a huge change and improvement in your life, then that is what I want you to celebrate for a while. Just keep that voice in the back of your mind about, gosh, I've been sitting for a while, I should probably stand. Those sorts of things, just start thinking about them throughout the next little while. But please do these slowly, because I do want them to be part of your life forever.